The O'Reilly Factor's on tonight.
We don't want to do like just a flat fee of like 200 and then it's like...
No, and I think a per item thing works a little better just because we can see how much we can get out of it.
Another shocking undercover video showing another Planned Parenthood doctor trying to get as much money as possible for selling the organs of aborted babies.
What do we want? D5! When do we want it? Now!
Meantime, outrage growing across the country over Planned Parenthood getting taxpayer money while participating in the money for body parts industry.
These are videos of senior Planned Parenthood officials laughing, swilling Chardonnay, and casually, callously, heartlessly bartering and selling body parts of unborn children.
Tonight, a Factor investigation that is stunning. Also, a stunning new poll about sanctuary cities. Caution, you are about to enter the no-spin zone. The Factor begins right now. Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Is America becoming barbaric? That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Today, pro-life Americans in more than 50 cities protested against Planned Parenthood after gruesome undercover videos showed the organization selling the organs of dead babies.
Today, the U.S. Department of Justice should open a criminal investigation into whether Planned Parenthood nationally is a criminal enterprise breaking the law.
At least 8 states are now investigating Planned Parenthood, which receives about $500 million a year from the American taxpayer. That's obviously wrong. Planned Parenthood should be privately funded. And if it is breaking the law, some executives should go to prison. Also today, the pro-life group Center for Medical Progress released yet another undercover sting video. This one shows Dr. Savita Gindi, the medical director of Planned Parenthood in Colorado, talking about selling the body parts of a fetus aborted after 11 weeks, 6 days.
11.6 was pretty good. There was, there was like 3 or 4 samples we could have taken out of the 11.6. So that would be, if we were doing like, 50 to 75 per specimen, that would be like 200, 300, right? And we'd be comfortable with that. But like, so it's like stuff like this, like we don't want to do like just a flat fee of like 200 and then, it's like.
No, and I think the per item thing works a little better just because we can see how much we can get out of it.
The words "how much we can get out of it" are damning for Planned Parenthood. Now, very quietly, an industry that harvests and sells body parts from aborted babies has developed in the USA. Planned Parenthood is part of that industry. It does business with a company called STEM Express, based in Placerville, California. STEM Express buys bodies from Planned Parenthood and other abortion providers, then dissects them, selling organs to medical research operations. A woman named Holly O'Donnell was hired by STEM Express to draw blood from dead babies. Here's how Ms. O'Donnell describes being trained by a STEM Express employee.
She has tweezers, and she's like, okay, well, this is a head, this is the arm, this is a leg, and she hands them over. So, oh, here you go. Can you show me some of the parts I just showed you? And I grabbed the tweezers. I'm like, because I didn't want to lose this job. I didn't know. I was already stoked to get it. So I did what she said. And the moment I took the tweezers, I put them in the dish. And I remember grabbing a leg, and I said, this is a leg. And the moment I picked it up, I could just feel like death and pain.
Planned Parenthood says it is not doing anything wrong and markets the bodies of aborted babies to help science. But there's no question that big money's involved. Inc. magazine reporting, STEM Express is very profitable, revenue more than $2 million a year. We don't know how much money Planned Parenthood makes in the process, but we should know. After all, $500 million of our tax money is given to that organization every year. There comes a point where Americans have to decide what kind of country they can tolerate. Whether you're pro-choice or pro-life, the undercover video showing Planned Parenthood bargaining over the price of dead babies before they're even extracted from the womb is grisly beyond belief. Yet there's no remorse from Planned Parenthood, and the White House is standing by them.
They have made very clear that they subscribe to the highest, they subscribe and implement the highest ethical standards when in carrying out their operations.
In light of the undercover videos, that statement is false and absurd, an insult to the American taxpayer. Talking Points is appalled about the lack of leadership in America and also about the apathy on the part of many individual Americans who could not care less what happens to the unborn. Congress must now get involved and at least suspend tax payments to Planned Parenthood until a federal investigation is completed. If Congress does not do that, we can then rightly be criticized by countries like Iran and Russia as being a barbaric nation. We will lose all moral authority in the world. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight, reaction with us here in New York City, Monica Crowley, and from Washington, Kirsten Powers, both are Fox News analysts. So what do you think about the White House statement on Planned Parenthood, Kirsten?
Well, I think it's predictable because I think there's no chance that they're ever going to say anything critical about Planned Parenthood, considering the control that it has over the Democratic Party. It is also, as you said, it's disconnected from reality if you watch any of these videos. It's quite clear
let me
that they
stop
are
you
not
there.
operating at a very high ethical standard.
I agree with you that the Democratic Party is joined with Planned Parenthood in a way that makes it almost impossible for them to seek justice. But the President of the United States is another matter. He's supposed to represent all Americans, including unborn Americans. And for have this man say nothing, and to put his spokesperson out there to actually lie to the American people, that was a lie in the light of these videos. Even if this isn't all through Planned Parenthood, these three doctors disgraced themselves. And that man in the White House, the spokesperson, Josh Earnest, has the gall and the nerve to say that in front of the world. That's disturbing to me.
Yeah, you're not going to get any disagreement from me. And I definitely think it's something that the president should be speaking out about, because I don't think this is a pro-life or a pro-choice issue. I think you can be completely pro-choice, and you can even support, you know, even say you support Planned Parenthood, but say, look, we have to get to the bottom of this if this is happening,
That's right.
And we need to deal with these people.
We have to find out how much money is being made and how pervasive it is. What say you?
Not surprised by this White House statement, because Barack Obama is the most pro-abortion president the country has ever had. When he was a state senator in Illinois, he supported partial birth abortion, which is essentially infanticide. So in addition to the fact that the official Democratic Party platform is any abortion at any time for any reason, and that the baby is only an official life once it leaves the hospital, you are never going to get an official condemnation from this president, the administration, or frankly, most Democrats.
What about the Republican Congress? All right, so we've hammered the Democratic Party and the president, and rightly so. These people, what are they doing? I mean, you just saw Mitch McConnell detach a Planned Parenthood defunding amendment from the highway bill. And we understood it. We went over it last night. But where is it being introduced? When is it going to be up there? I mean, so if the Republicans don't aggressively do this and put it forth so the Democratic Party has to either sabotage it or the president veto it, okay? And all we're asking for is a suspension until the investigation is completed. I think in the interest of justice, why wouldn't anybody agree with that?
Right. We just talked about the Democratic Party. The Republican Party is the party of pro-life. So you're absolutely right. They should be talking and introducing bills to defund Planned Parenthood. There is a bill now in the United States Senate called the Unborn Children's Protection Act, which the Republicans that now control that body should be moving on. Look, what you saw there is an indication of a growing moral bankruptcy in this country. There are some, like Senator Ted Cruz, who is fighting this battle. But I want to see more voices. I want to see Pope Francis.
I want to see the Republicans in Congress organize themselves. So effective legislation on Kate's Law, Planned Parenthood, Sanctuary City is going to have that in a moment, can get at least introduced. So I don't think the Republicans are on the side of the angels yet, Kirsten. I think they have to now move and move quickly on the Planned Parenthood front.
Right. I mean, I think that what I think needs to happen is, I think even prior to, I think you're moving too fast talking about the defunding thing. There needs to be investigations, and I think there needs to be investigations, and let Planned Parenthood come up and defend themselves and make their case, but have very detailed investigations into what is going on
here. But the
here.
history of this administration is not to investigate and not to do anything.
I'm saying for the Congress to investigate them. I mean, they are getting taxpayer money.
Right.
They are getting taxpayer money.
I think it should be,
they should be
in the
held to
interest of
account
justice,
for it.
there's enough evidence out there that the funding should be suspended until a Justice Department investigation.
But that's not going to happen. And the Justice Department's
then
not
let
going to
them say
investigate
it.
them.
Let them say it's not going to happen. Last word.
Yeah, there's the legal dimension of this, which is what Kirsten is talking about, the investigations. There's the moral dimension, which we have to look really closely at ourselves as a
every
country.
individual American has got to say, because right now we're tottering on a barbaric nation. That's where we are.
That's right. I mean, have we become that inured to the termination of life? And then there's the political dimension where now over 50% of the American people oppose this kind of thing and are pro-life.
We'll stay on it. Ladies, thank you. One footnote, State of California is investigating the organization that did the undercover videos. Can you believe it? Is it legal? We'll have analysis a bit later on in the program. But next on the rundown, a surprising new poll on sanctuary cities. Factor will be right back.